Supreme Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge of the Kraxan Empire's flagship, Inevitable Victory, his scaled hands clasped behind his back as he studied the holographic display of Earth. The blue planet rotated slowly before him, seemingly defenseless and primitive. His mandibles clicked in amusement as the preliminary scans showed nothing more than a handful of crude orbital stations and primitive satellites. "This species barely has a presence beyond their atmosphere," he remarked to his senior staff. "Their most advanced achievement appears to be a small research station orbiting their planet." Pathetic. The Kraxan Empire had conquered 17 civilizations across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Each victory had been easier than the last, as their reputation preceded them. Most species surrendered at first contact, knowing resistance was futile against their superior technology and massive fleet. "The humans have detected our presence," Supreme Commander reported Science Officer Ixel. "Their primitive communication networks are buzzing with activity. They appear to be celebrating." Vexthor's inner eyelids blinked in confusion. "Celebrating? Yes, sir. They're broadcasting messages of welcome across their global information network. Their leaders are preparing for what they call humanity's first contact with advanced alien life." The bridge crew chittered in amusement. Such naivety was almost endearing. These humans had no idea they were about to become the 18th species to fall under Kraxan dominion. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a command center that didn't officially exist, General Maya Rodriguez watched the same scene unfold with a completely different perspective. Surrounded by holographic displays showing real-time data from quantum sensors hidden throughout the solar system, she allowed herself a small smile. "The Kraxan fleet's position is exactly where we predicted," she said to her staff. "Operation Ghost Protocol has worked perfectly. 10 years of carefully crafted radio leaks, deliberately primitive satellite launches, and strategically placed debris have convinced them we're centuries behind their technology level." Her aide, Colonel Chen, nodded in agreement. "The lunar shipyards remain undetected. The quantum camouflage fields are holding steady. All 27 fleet groups report ready status." The truth was far different from what the Kraxan could see. Humanity had detected their first scout ships 15 years ago, using advanced gravitational wave detectors that the aliens didn't even know were possible. Instead of panicking, Earth's nations had united in secret, pooling their resources and brilliant minds into the most ambitious military deception in human history. While maintaining a facade of primitive space capability, humanity had developed technologies that leapfrogged conventional development paths. Rather than focusing on brute force like the Kraxan, human engineers had perfected quantum stealth systems, gravity manipulation, and artificial intelligence beyond anything the Empire had achieved. "They're launching landing craft," reported Colonel Chen. "Right on schedule." Rodriguez touched a control panel, opening a secure channel to all hidden fleet commands. "All units maintain stealth protocols. Let them land their first wave. Let them think they've caught us completely unprepared." In high orbit, Vexthor was growing increasingly suspicious of how smoothly everything was proceeding. His species had evolved from ambush predators, and something deep in his genetic memory was triggering warning signals. "This is too easy," he muttered. "Sir," questioned his second-in-command. "Launch another deep scan of the system," Vexthor ordered. "Something doesn't feel right. No species has ever been this calm about first contact." The scans would find nothing. Human quantum technology operated on principles the Kraxan hadn't discovered yet. Their sensors were looking for energy signatures that simply weren't there, while being blind to the massive infrastructure humanity had built. Hidden in the dark side of the moon, in asteroid clouds and in the shadows of planets, waited the largest space fleet ever constructed. Ships crewed by humans and AIs working in perfect synthesis, powered by zero-point energy, and armed with weapons that bent the fabric of space itself. General Rodriguez checked the countdown timer on her display. In exactly 6 hours, once the Kraxan had committed their forces to the invasion, humanity would reveal its true face, The deception was about to end, and a new chapter in galactic history was about to begin. "Send the coded signal to all fleet commanders," she ordered. "Operation Ghost Protocol enters final phase at 600 hours tomorrow. Until then, we let them think they've won." In orbit, Vex Thor continued to stare at the peaceful blue planet below, unaware that he wasn't the hunter he thought he was. For the first time in their history, the Kraxan Empire had walked into someone else's trap. Deep in the hidden lunar base, the crews of humanity's Ghost Fleet completed their final preparations. Weapons were charged, quantum drives spooled up, and combat AIs ran their final simulations. In a few hours, the galaxy would learn that humanity's apparent weakness had been its greatest strength all along. The trap was set, the stage was prepared, and humanity was about to demonstrate why underestimating Earth was the last mistake any empire would ever make. The quantum-shielded command bunker beneath Olympus Mons on Mars hummed with activity as Dr. Sarah Wells reviewed the final diagnostics of Project Phantom. Around her, banks of quantum computers processed real-time data from thousands of stealth satellites scattered throughout the solar system. Each one was invisible to conventional detection methods, thanks to technology that had taken humanity a decade to perfect. "Quantum Entanglement Network at 100% stability," reported her AI partner, ARIA. "All fleet groups are maintaining perfect sync across the distributed consciousness grid." This was humanity's true advantage, not just advanced technology, but the seamless fusion of human intuition with artificial intelligence. While the Kraxan relied on hierarchical command structures, Earth's fleet operated as a single organism, with each ship's AI connected through quantum entanglement, guided by human consciousness. "Show me the Kraxan landing operations," Sarah requested. The holographic display shifted, revealing dozens of enemy dropships descending through Earth's atmosphere. They were targeting major cities, exactly as predicted. In New York, Tokyo, London, and other metropolitan centers, civilians followed the carefully rehearsed evacuation protocols that had been disguised as disaster preparedness drills for the past 5 years. Underground, vast cities waited to receive their populations, protected by energy shields that could withstand direct nuclear strikes. High above the Atlantic Ocean, Kraxan Commander Ixel watched the landing operations with growing unease. "Supreme Commander, I'm detecting unusual patterns in the human responses. Their movements are too organized." Vex Thor dismissed the concern with a wave of his clawed hand. "They're simply following their primitive emergency protocols. Continue the landings." But Ixel wasn't convinced. As a science officer, he'd studied countless species, and something about humanity's behavior pattern felt wrong. They showed neither panic nor resistance. It was almost as if his thoughts were interrupted by a priority alert. "Sir, our deep space probes are detecting unusual gravitational anomalies throughout the system." In her Mars Command Center, Dr. Wells smiled. The Kraxan were finally noticing the ripples caused by humanity's quantum drive systems. It didn't matter now. They were too committed to their invasion to retreat. She opened a secure channel to General Rodriguez on Earth. "The enemy is detecting quantum wake signatures. Should we adjust the stealth harmonics?" "Negative," Rodriguez replied. "Let them wonder. It's too late for them to change course now." The general was right. The Kraxan had already landed nearly 40% of their ground forces, believing they were securing an easy victory. Their ships were spread thin across the solar system, positioned exactly where humanity's battle simulations had predicted they would be. In the Kuiper Belt, Admiral James Chen watched the invasion unfold from the bridge of the EFSS Prometheus, humanity's first quantum dreadnought. The massive ship, nearly 20 kilometers long, was the product of 15 years of secret development. Around it, hidden in the cosmic dance of ice and rock, waited 30 similar vessels, each capable of engaging the entire Kraxan fleet single-handedly. "All hands to battle stations," Chen ordered quietly. "Power up the quantum cores but maintain stealth protocols. We strike on schedule, not a moment before." The crew moved with practiced precision, each member working in perfect harmony with their AI counterparts. The ship's quantum computer, linked to the consciousness of every crew member through neural interfaces, anticipated their needs before they even arose. Back on Earth, the Kraxan landing forces were beginning to secure their designated zones, still encountering no resistance. The humans appeared to be simply hiding in their primitive shelters, offering no fight at all. Vexthor finally allowed himself to relax slightly. Begin Phase 2 of the invasion. Deploy the submission protocols. But at that moment, deep within Earth's oceanic trenches, in underground bases, and in hidden facilities across the solar system, humanity's true military might was about to reveal itself. Quantum engines spooled up, drawing power from the zero-point field. Advanced AI systems synchronized their consciousness networks, preparing for coordinated action across light minutes of space. Dr. Wells checked the countdown timer one last time. 3 hours remained until humanity would show its true face to the galaxy. She thought about the years of preparation, the countless sacrifices, and the absolute secrecy that had brought them to this moment. AI. She addressed her AI partner. Begin final preparations for quantum barrier deployment. When we reveal ourselves, I want to make sure not a single Kraxan ship escapes to warn their empire. The A's response held a note of what could almost be called anticipation. All systems ready, Dr. Wells. The Kraxan Empire is about to learn why humans are known for thinking outside the box. As the invasion continued above, humanity waited in its hidden strongholds, its secret fleets, and its quantum-shielded bases. The greatest military deception in galactic history was about to reach its culmination, and the universe would never be the same. The moment of revelation began not with a bang, but with a ripple. Throughout the solar system, quantum fields that had hidden humanity's true nature for years began to shift. It started subtly. Distortions in space that the Kraxan sensors initially dismissed as background radiation. Aboard the inevitable Victory, Science Officer Ixel was the first to realize something was terribly wrong. Supreme Commander, multiple space-to-time anomalies detected. They're everywhere. Vexthor rushed to the tactical display, his mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. The holographic map of the solar system was lighting up with thousands of energy signatures, appearing from seemingly empty space. Like ghosts materializing from nothing, massive ships emerged from their quantum shrouds. Impossible, he whispered. Their technology level. It was all a deception. In the Kuiper Belt, Admiral Chen gave the order that humanity had prepared for over a decade. Operation Phantom, Phase 3. All fleet groups drop quantum camouflage. Show them who we really are. The ESS Prometheus decloaked first, its massive form dwarfing the largest Kraxan vessels. 20 kilometers of advanced human engineering, powered by zero-point energy and guided by hybrid human-AI consciousness. Its hull gleamed with a material that seemed to drink in starlight, covered in geometric patterns that defied conventional physics. Following the flagship, humanity's hidden fleet revealed itself. Ships emerged from behind every planet and moon, from within asteroid fields, and even from within the sun's corona, protected by quantum shields that made the impossible possible. Dr. Wells watched from Mars as her life's work finally showed its true face to the galaxy. Aria, initiate the quantum barrier network. Let's make sure our guests stay for the whole party. Throughout the solar system, hidden quantum beacons activated, creating an interlocking network of space-time distortions. The Kraxan fleet was effectively trapped. Their faster-than-light drives would be useless within the quantum barrier. Enemy vessels attempting emergency jumps. Aria reported with something almost like satisfaction. 0 successful escapes. The barrier is holding perfectly. Aboard the inevitable Victory, panic was setting in. Supreme Commander, Ixel's voice shook. Human vessels are appearing everywhere. Their technology. It's beyond anything we've ever encountered. These readings, they're manipulating quantum fields we didn't even know existed. Vexthor watched in horror as his carefully planned invasion crumbled around him. The supposedly primitive humans had surrounded his entire fleet. Every tactical advantage he thought he'd had was revealed as part of their deception. General Rodriguez stood in her underwater command center, finally allowing herself a moment of pride. "Open a channel to all Kraxan vessels," she ordered. "Let's formally introduce ourselves." Her image appeared on every Kraxan ship's communication system, broadcasted through quantum channels they couldn't block. "This is General Maya Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force. For years you've watched us, thinking we were primitive, thinking we were weak. We let you think that. We wanted you to think that." On the tactical displays, humanity's ships began moving with impossible precision. Each vessel's quantum AI network allowed it to coordinate perfectly with the entire fleet, creating battle formations that shifted like living organisms. "You see," Rodriguez continued, "humans have a long history of letting our enemies underestimate us. While you watched our primitive satellites and laughed at our chemical rockets, we were building something you couldn't even imagine." The EFSS Prometheus moved forward, its massive form casting a shadow over the Kraxan flagship. Smaller human vessels moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore conventional physics. They didn't just fly through space. They manipulated it. "We could have revealed ourselves earlier," Rodriguez explained. "We could have struck before you entered our system. But we wanted to learn everything about you first. Every tactic, every weakness, every flaw in your strategy. And you gave us exactly what we wanted." In the Mars Command Center, Dr. Wells monitored the quantum barrier network. The Kraxan ships were completely contained, their much-vaunted technology rendered obsolete by human innovation. "All battle groups report ready," she informed General Rodriguez. "The AIs are predicting a 99.97% success rate with the planned engagement strategies." Vexthor finally found his voice. You deceived us." "No," Rodriguez corrected him. "We outthought you. We saw you coming years ago, and instead of panicking, we prepared. While you conquered species that fought you head-on, we took a different approach. And now you're about to learn why humanity has survived everything our own world has thrown at us." Admiral Chen's voice joined the communication. "All human fleet groups, Combat Formation Delta. Show them what Earth's children can do." As the human ships moved into attack positions, their quantum drives humming with power that defied conventional physics, the Kraxan Empire was about to learn a lesson that would reshape galactic history. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never, ever underestimate humanity's capacity for innovation. The battle for Earth was about to begin, but it had been won years ago, in hidden laboratories and secret shipyards, by a species that had turned deception into an art form and patience into a weapon. The first shots of the battle weren't fired with conventional weapons. Instead, quantum distortion fields rippled through space, precisely targeted by humanity's AI networks. Kraxan shields, considered impenetrable by most galactic standards, simply winked out of existence as their fundamental forces were rewritten at the quantum level. Admiral Chen watched from the Prometheus's command deck as the carefully choreographed battle plan unfolded. Quantum strike groups. Execute pattern Fibonacci. Let's show them what human mathematics can do in warfare. The human fleet moved in geometric patterns that seemed to defy natural law. Ships appeared to be in multiple locations simultaneously, their quantum drives allowing them to exist in probability states that confused both Kraxan sensors and their gunners' eyes. Impossible. Vexthor roared as his flagship's weapons passed harmlessly through what appeared to be solid human vessels. "They're ships. They're not where they appear to be." Dr. Wells smiled as she monitored the battle from Mars. "Araya, explain to our guests what they're witnessing. They should understand exactly how thoroughly we surpassed them." The AI's voice echoed through every Kraxan communication system. "Your weapons are targeting our quantum echoes, probability shadows of where our ships might be. Human quantum technology doesn't just hide our vessels. It allows them to exist in multiple states simultaneously. You're not fighting a fleet. You're fighting every possible configuration of our fleet at once. The Kraxan battle computers, trying to track targets that existed in quantum superposition, began to crash. Their targeting systems, designed for conventional space combat, were useless against ships that could manipulate the fabric of reality itself. General Rodriguez watched the tactical display as the battle unfolded exactly as their simulations had predicted. All Earth Defense Force units, initiate synchronized consciousness link. Show them what happens when human intuition meets quantum computing. The effect was immediate and devastating. Every human ship's AI network merged with its crew's consciousness, creating a battle awareness that operated at the speed of thought. The entire human fleet moved as a single organism, responding to threats before they even fully materialized. "Sir," Ixel's voice was thick with panic. "The humans, their ships are anticipating our attacks before we execute them. It's as if they're reading our tactical database in real time." He wasn't far wrong. The quantum AI networks were processing the Kraxan's battle algorithms faster than they could be implemented, predicting and countering strategies before they could be deployed. Admiral Chen opened a channel to all human ships. Phase 2 activation. Deploy the quantum singularity weapons. The real face of human military technology revealed itself. The massive human dreadnoughts didn't fire conventional energy weapons or projectiles. Instead, they created controlled quantum singularities. Microscopic black holes that existed for fractions of a second, just long enough to tear through Kraxan ships with surgical precision. Target their propulsion systems and weapons only, Chen ordered. Minimal casualties. We're here to defeat them, not destroy them. This display of precision and mercy, even in the midst of total tactical superiority, was perhaps more terrifying to the Kraxan than simple destruction would have been. Their ships were being systematically disabled by weapons they couldn't even detect, let alone defend against. Vexthor watched in helpless rage as his mighty fleet was reduced to drifting hulks. The humans weren't just winning. They were doing so with a level of control that demonstrated just how vast the technological gap truly was. "You don't understand." Dr. Wells's voice came through the communications network again. "We could have destroyed your entire fleet the moment you entered our system. But that's not how humans wage war. We prefer to win without unnecessary destruction. It's more elegant that way." The quantum barrier network pulsed, adjusting its frequencies to maintain the perfect containment of the Kraxan fleet. Not a single ship had managed to escape, and now they were being systematically neutralized by weapons that seemed to ignore the fundamental laws of physics. In the Mars Command Center, Dr. Wells turned to her AI partner. "AI, analytical assessment of the battle's progression. The Kraxan fleet is operating at 12% combat effectiveness and falling," the AI reported. "Their command and control structure has completely collapsed. They are, to use a human phrase, in total disarray." General Rodriguez nodded in satisfaction. "Send the final message to Supreme Commander Vexthor. It's time to end this." Throughout the solar system, disabled Kraxan ships hung in space, their crews watching in awe as the human fleet demonstrated maneuvers that should have been impossible. The quantum drives allowed the ships to move in ways that made mockery of conventional space combat doctrine. This wasn't just a defeat, it was a revolution in warfare. The Kraxan Empire, which had conquered 17 species through superior firepower and brute force, was being systematically dismantled by an enemy that had hidden its true nature until the perfect moment to strike. And as the battle entered its final phase, the galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its quantum technology or AI networks. It was the human capacity to completely revolutionize the rules of warfare itself. Aboard the powerless inevitable Victory, Supreme Commander Vexthor stood motionless, watching the last of his fleet's systems shut down under the precise quantum attacks. The mighty Kraxan Armada, terror of 3 spiral arms, had been defeated without a single ship being destroyed. The humiliation was total. "Your surrender is accepted." General Rodriguez's voice echoed through the emergency communication systems. the only systems the humans had allowed to remain functional. Now, let's discuss the future. The quantum barrier network shimmered across the solar system, its ethereal patterns a reminder of how completely humanity had controlled the entire engagement. The human fleet maintained its perfect formation, their quantum state ships existing in multiple possibilities simultaneously, a display of power that defied conventional understanding. Dr. Wells initiated the final phase of Operation Phantom from her Mars Command Center. HFY, begin transmission of the complete technical package to all Kraxan vessels. Let them understand exactly what they were facing. Data streamed into Kraxan computers, detailed analyses of human quantum technology, AI development, and consciousness integration. It wasn't meant to humiliate. It was a calculated demonstration of transparency. Humanity wasn't just announcing its arrival on the galactic stage. It was changing the rules of engagement. You see, Admiral Chen's voice joined the transmission. We could have kept our advantages secret. We could have destroyed your empire from the shadows. But humans have a different vision for the galaxy. On the Prometheus's quantum-enhanced displays, the Admiral watched as understanding dawned in the Kraxan leadership. The technical data showed them not just how thoroughly they had been outmaneuvered, but also the countless ways humanity could have destroyed them utterly. Vexthor finally found his voice. Why? Why show us this? Why reveal your secrets? Dr. Wells answered, her hologram appearing on every Kraxan bridge. Because the galaxy needs to change. The age of conquest is over. Humanity is offering something different, a partnership in understanding the quantum nature of reality itself. In the underwater command center on Earth, General Rodriguez nodded to her staff. Quantum field generators throughout the solar system began to power down, but selectively. The barrier remained strong enough to contain any potential aggression, yet weak enough to demonstrate trust. The Kraxan Empire has conquered 17 species, Rodriguez stated. Today, we're giving you the chance to lead them instead. Your choice is simple. Continue the cycle of conquest and face an enemy you cannot defeat, or help us build something new. Aria's consciousness network detected the shift in Kraxan neural patterns. They're beginning to understand, Dr. Wells. Fear is being replaced by curiosity, pride by wonder. The AI was right. Throughout the Kraxan fleet, scientists and engineers were poring over the technical data humanity had shared. The quantum principles underlying human technology weren't just advanced. They represented a completely different path of technological evolution. Admiral Chen opened a channel to Vexthor. Your empire was built on the principle that strength comes from conquest. We're showing you a different kind of strength. The power that comes from understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. The quantum drives of the human fleet pulsed in synchronized harmony, creating patterns in space-time that were both beautiful and terrifying. It was a demonstration of how far humanity had advanced while hiding in plain sight. The galaxy stands at a crossroads, General Rodriguez declared. Humanity could take its place as just another conquering empire. Instead, we're offering a different path. The quantum technology we've developed can transform worlds, heal environments, and unlock the deepest mysteries of existence. In the Mars Command Center, Dr. Wells watched as quantum scanners detected weapons powering down throughout the Kraxan fleet. Not by human action, but by choice. Understanding was replacing fear, curiosity overcoming pride. The future we're offering, she explained, isn't one of subjugation, but of elevation. Imagine a galaxy where species compete not through warfare, but through understanding, where power comes not from conquest, but from comprehension. Vexthor looked at the technical data streaming across his screens, then at the quantum state human ships that had so thoroughly defeated his fleet. For the first time in his long military career, he saw not just power, but possibility. Perhaps, he said slowly, it is time for the Kraxan Empire to evolve. Throughout the solar system, quantum fields shifted as humanity's fleet began to power down their combat systems. The message was clear. Trust would be met with trust, change with change. As Earth's sun rose over the lunar horizon, its light reflecting off the quantum-shifted hulls of both human and Kraxan ships, a new chapter in galactic history was beginning. Humanity had revealed itself not just as a powerful species, but as one that understood the true meaning of strength, the power to change, to grow, and to lead by example. The deception was over. The Shadow War had ended, and in its place, a new kind of galactic civilization was about to emerge, one founded not on the principle of conquest, but on the human ideals of innovation, understanding, and the endless quest for knowledge. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, as if acknowledging that the universe would never be quite the same again.